Testing. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Mute Boy. Yes, on mute for 6 minutes in the last stream, just making sure that this is all plugged in. Oh, so embarrassing. But it happens when you've got a puppy and you're sleep deprived. It's not good, everybody. It's not good, everybody. But listen, we're going to go over exactly what I was just speaking about for 6 minutes. But listen, we'll surmise it. Thank you all for joining for the second time. Yeah, we're here with the match preview. But guys, what I wanted to do originally is shout out everybody who's been sending the support and the love to the channel over the past couple of days. Listen, the tactical preview is something that I want to really, get through consistently. Just making sure I'm microphone burn out. Liam in the building, hit the like button. Otherwise, you're a secret scum fan, 100%. Joms, comms check. 1, 2, 3. But yeah, I want to revitalize the Patreon is essentially what I was saying to you guys over and over and over again in those 6 minutes. So if you want to see additional content, bonus content, go over there. There'll be stuff that I want to do with you guys when it comes to sort of Q&As, live streams, your thoughts, and sort of curate that into content. My job situation at the minute, I want to be transparent with you guys, is moving a little bit. I will not be doing what I'm doing in the next coming months, really, potentially next coming weeks. So that's going to change. So my entire life at the minute is changing. So sorry if it's been a little bit up in the air. There will be more consistency when it comes to the Patreon. I do want to start doing the Final Word, which is a series I used to do ages ago on like a Sunday. I want to keep a review up, obviously. And what I want to be doing is the tactical previews. You guys know that I try keep on board with tactics. I enjoy the tactical side of football. I'm not a guru when it comes to tactics at all, but I enjoy it. I do really enjoy it. So I want to keep that consistency up. But if you want bonus content on top of that, please join me on the Patreon account. The link will be in the description below. Here we go. Anyway, Connor, are you doing phone-ins for viewers? That's something that I want to do as well, mate. That is something that I want to definitely sort of start. I don't know whether or not it's going to be on the Patreon or whether or not it's going to be on my account, the live YouTube account. And the reason I want to do that is because I want to give, the reason I started this YouTube channel, and believe it or not, it wasn't about me. One city, one family, one community, and all this sort of stuff. That was the whole premise. That was the motto of the channel. And I don't think I do that enough. So if you guys want that, if you guys will actually phone in and you fancy actually coming on, I'm not just going to be sat here on a stream for half an hour by myself. Let me know if you guys want to talk about Leeds on a platform in front of nearly 20,000 people. It might seem a bit daunting, but genuinely it's not. So if you want to do that, let me know in the comment section below, honestly. But as well, we are sponsored, everybody. Like, another little community I've started. These guys, if they weren't on board, I'd really struggle to run the channel at the minute with all the upkeep of it. So BETMATE are with the channel. The only reason I wanted to get involved with these guys as well is because it's fun. It's fantasy football, and you can come into it or you can bail out at any point. Genuinely, it's that easy, and it's a little bit of fun. It's something we'll be talking about in the debrief next season, something we're going to be talking about on the match preview and reviews all the time. It essentially is you picking your fantasy league for both teams for the weekend's game or the Monday's game in our choice. Pot code PAL-Lee1 to get involved this week. This is my team. I've gone with Melee Net, Gahey at the back, Cooper at the back, Gallagher, Eze, Zaha, and Rodrigo. If you think you can beat that, make sure you get involved. The link is in the description below. As I say, guys, it is PAL-Lee1 to join. 200 quid minimum payout spread across 10 places, everybody, and it's only a £3 stake, so get involved in that. Okay, so should we get going with it then, shall we? Let me know what you think in the comment section below with regards to the Palace game and all this sort of good stuff, everybody. I know there's been a lot of people tuning in, asking for my opinion. I've gone into the tactical side of it on that breakdown. If you haven't checked that out, make sure you go do that. So I'm not going to go over the tactical aspects where I think Leeds can, where I think Jesse Marsch is going to set the side up. If you want to look at that and you want to sort of react to that, go and look at that. That was done a couple of days ago. I've also done a summer rebuild video, which was me sort of talking to you guys about how I think Leeds need to go about this summer and the challenges that the board, Jesse Marsch and the fans are going to face. So make sure you check that out. But Crystal Palace, yeah, it's a big weekend for Leeds, isn't it? It's a huge weekend. I think Everton coming up against Liverpool is a really good opportunity for Leeds to really gain some yardage on Everton, which I think is big at the minute. Obviously, we've seen an annoyance when it comes to Burnley. They seem to have been a little bit revitalised by Sean Dyche leaving, which I was quite surprised with. I thought they were the better team against West Ham. Obviously, they were the much better team against Southampton the other night. They've got Wolves at home, and obviously Leeds are away at Palace. So we are the last team to play. We are the last team to sort of, be able to design our fate, really. It's going to be a tough one. It is going to be a tough one, but it is a game Leeds United can win. They're not that far above us. It's not a world-class team, like Everton are facing this weekend. I think Burnley have got a really tough task in Wolves. Wolves, one of the more consistent and better away sides in the country. So I want to know your thoughts, everybody. Let me know. I'm going to get into your comments. But I think it's a game that Leeds have to be targeting as a win. I think the next three after that are going to give Everton and Burnley real opportunity to be able to gain on Leeds. And then it sort of hammers a lot of pressure on the Brighton game, who are also a very, very good team away from home. And Brentford, which we just do. We've never wanted it to go down to the last game of the season at Brentford, have we? We've never wanted that as Leeds fans, and that's completely understandable. So, yeah, a lot of people are really, really... Let me know what you think. But a lot of people are sort of dead certs, as D said here, and the bookies have almost certs to stay up. I've sort of come on here and been pretty transparent with you guys about Leeds throughout the season. I think I've sort of been a little bit cautious from the off, really. I don't think that stance has ever changed. But I think Monday is a big game for Leeds, and I think we'll know a little bit more about our chances after Monday. If we go to Palace and we're not really able to compete and we lose that game, and you see maybe Burnley beating Watford, Burnley beating Wolves, I should say. And I think Everton are going to lose to Liverpool. But if they put in a really good performance and narrowly lose, I think a lot more fans are going to be a little bit more nervous. But listen, there's people in and around my circle who are chilled about it. KG, Brownie, chilled about it. No problem with it. I think we're safe. I am a little bit on the cautious side, and that's not because I'm being a negative fan. It's not, or a pessimistic fan. I just look at this squad. I look at the caliber of this squad. I look at the teams that we've got coming up, and I look at the other fixtures of the other teams in and around us. But Palace is a winnable game. It's a winnable game. It's just what Leeds shows up in it. So I'm going to get into your comment section. Joe said, yeah, I'd phone in, but been told I sound like Croydon Barry White. Croydon, Joe. There we go. So you're from the Palace end, my friend. Connor, your opinion on the next 5 games. How many points do you think we can get realistically? I would go with... I've got a sneaky feeling, I've said this on the debrief, that Chelsea, we could maybe nick something from that. And the reason I've said that is because I think Chelsea have got a whole host of very important games in and around the Leeds game. So I think they'll have to rest players. They're not on the greatest form at the minute. You take out the Real Madrid performance. If we're dogged, if the fans are behind us, Chelsea a little bit off colour, I think we could nick a point there. But I think you've got to look at this Palace game and think Leeds really can't lose. I think we nick a point against Palace, it'd be a great result. I'll be honest with you guys, I think it's going to be a tough game for us on Monday. But as I've said, it's an opportunity 100% for Leeds to win. It's a realistic chance. Leeds have a definite realistic chance of winning this game. I do look at the 3 after that. I think it's going to be tough, but I think we could pick up a point. So if I'm thinking optimistically, looking at 2 points in our next 4, maybe, and then you'd look at maybe 3 points in the last 2, which takes us to 5, which I think will keep us safe. Yes, City should have had their keeper sent off. That's a quick shout out to the 23s last night, who I believe lost 3-1. I think it was 3-1 in the end. City winning the league, and they had some absolute ballers in there. I mean, we've spoken about Cole Palmer before on this channel, McAtee as well. I think they had Kai in there, the Brazilian who they got for 10 to 15 million. A whole host of world-class talent. So fair play to the 23s, but unfortunately they lost that game. Brian's in the building and says, beat Palace and Everton will fall apart. Yeah, I think I'm a little bit more... maybe on the sort of stance of it's going to be a real struggle for Everton as well now. I think I always thought Goodison would keep them up. I think the Leicester game was a big blow, a huge blow. I thought they'd win that game, but Everton were the better team throughout, in my opinion. But I do still think they've got some still winnable games at home. You look at Brentford, they've obviously got Watford away, even though their away form's turgid. Watford's home form is turgid. So that gives them a little bit of a chance. And obviously they've got Palace at home as well. Obviously we'd all rather play Brentford at home and Palace away. Palace at home instead of going to both away from home, which we do have in our next sort of 6 fixtures. So yeah, Ben Dance is in the building. He says, I can see this going to wire. I completely agree with you, mate. You don't think Everton can get anything from tomorrow's game? No, I don't think so. To be honest. Vietnam Whites, Paul, let me know where you're at, mate. I stayed in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh and all the sort of generic places when I was over there, mate. Hello from Thailand. Hello, my friend. Lewis says, I'm from Northwest London. My granddad was a huge Leeds fan. That was naturally passed down. Good man. I work for the Palace every now and again, says Joe. I'll be in the way, and good man. Dan's in the building. Hello, mate. I hope you're well. I share your view. This Palace game is everything. I think Chelsea could be the only other place for a point in the next couple of games coming up. Yeah, I just think City are too strong. A lot of people might turn around and say, City are going to rest players. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I think the rested a few players when we played them at the Etihad, and listen, it's a man-for-man system. You do look at that narrow system. I'm trying not to talk about tactics here, but I'm doing it again. When you look at that narrow system that Jesse Marsch is going to set up with throughout the next 6 games, teams are just going to play wide, like we saw with Villa, like we saw with Wolverhampton Wanderers, and we're playing teams who like to play wide as well. Chelsea are a wide team who like to attack down the wings, very dynamic and fluid out wide. City are the exact same, make the pitch as wide as possible, and Palace play like that as well, make the pitch as wide as possible. So it's going to be interesting because I think we've had a fair few favourable games. I think we'd all admit that. So it's going to be interesting now when we've got, in my opinion, 6 pretty tough games coming up, how we're able to delve into that one. Derek Charles, miles off topic, but is the Don Matteo video coming soon? I've asked a few times. Also, awesome, mate. Work as always, mate. Loving the videos. Thanks, Derek. Yeah, the Don Matteo video, Derek, I can release it if you guys want me to, but it's pre-Bielsa. So we're sort of talking about Marcelo Bielsa and the work he's done with Leeds United. It could be a little bit of a homage to him if you still want me to release it. It's an hour and 30 long. If you guys do want me to put that on here, I can do. It all depends on the want and need for it, but that is in the archives. I've still got that if you guys want it to be put on the channel. Everyone smash a like for Connor. Yeah, please, guys. I know it's Saturday, but there's 159 of you in here, and it'd be great if you could smash your like on. This is more interactive. I want to get your guys' thoughts on the Palace game, your guys' thoughts on the general Leeds United sphere at the minute. I don't want it to just be my opinion. Obviously, you guys have heard my sort of preview, and I will sort of interact with you guys on my thoughts, but I want it to be mostly your thoughts on these previews as well. I want that to be a new thing. But yeah, I think obviously tricky players in and around this Leeds United box. We need to be smart, we need to be clever, we need to be focused, we need to be concentrated throughout the 90 minutes, because dribblers, as I've mentioned on my preview, they have an abundance, and Leeds are horrendous at giving away fouls. We're a bit lackadaisical when it comes to, intelligently jockeying football players and forcing them out of plays in other ways, not just diving in with the tackle, trying to ignite that press straight away and giving away stupid fouls on the edge of our boxes. And we've seen with John Joe Shelby, we've seen with Ward-Prowse, we've seen with players alike, Maxwell Cornet, that when Leeds give fouls, around our box, we normally suffer. It seems to go in, every single time, and Mellier's caught out. So yeah, I think Mellier struggles a little bit with lining his wall up, if I'm honest with you, on free kicks. I think that's something that drastically needs to improve going into the future. It's a development on his game. So what do? You mediate that, don't you? You sort of negate that. You make sure that doesn't happen again. So just stop giving away fouls in and around our box. I feel like we do that more than often. And if you've got Palace in and around targeting that aspect of it, targeting Diego Llorente when it comes to the press, if Leeds are starting to make stupid fouls in and around our box, that's where Palace are going to profit. We're staying up, says Jay Harris. Jay Harrison Smith. Connor, what difference do you think Phillips will make now he is back and 100%? Yeah, I think Forshaw and Click have been a really good partnership, mate. I think Phillips, I've said it before, I think it's going to take a while for him to adapt to this system, because it's a very, very different system to that of Marcelo Bielsa's. The transition isn't going to be smooth. His role was very unique in Marcelo Bielsa's system, screening that back four by himself. Working in a double pivot will be very, very different with him, because he has to be mobile. If he's playing on the left of a double pivot, he'll have to be going and helping the player on the left-hand side, the winger on the left-hand side. It's not going to be all about those switch balls for Calvin Phillips if we're playing narrow football, if we're playing centrally, vertically. So his role is going to be very, very different. It's also very, very different to an England setup who once again play a natural wide 4-2-3-1. Jesse Marsch wants to play a narrow 4-2-3-1 when we do play that system. So yeah, it's going to be a very, very different role for him. You're going to be seeing very, very different performances from Calvin Phillips. I don't think that means it's going to be negative, but it's going to be different. So it's going to be interesting to see how he adapts to this, because I feel Forshaw did really, really well, and it was a nice combination between him and Matthias Klick. I think Matthias Klick has been the standout in that pivot role, to be honest with you. So it's going to be fascinating to see. He's definitely going to have to adapt, though. Connor says, Tim, hiya, mate. Yorkshire Pirlo back in again with some great questions. DJ or Harrison, which one would you play on the wing at the minute? I'd go Harrison. I think his performances have been good in the past 3 games. This is going to be another one where, because I think we should be targeting their right back, this is going to be a big game for Jack Harrison. When I've spoken about Jack Harrison before, I do question whether or not he's a match winner, a game winner, a standout performance, which, when the team is low ebbed, when the team is down in the dumps, when the team is not performing, can Jack Harrison step up to the plate and drive the team forward, win the match by himself? I don't think we see enough of that with Jack Harrison. I think when the going's good, Jack Harrison is excellent because he gets goals, he gets assists when the going is good. But I think when Leeds are down in the trenches and we need someone, we need better performances from Jack Harrison. And I think this is a definite game where he could exploit someone like Nathaniel Klein and whoever Palace might have on that right-hand side if it isn't him, because they definitely can be pressurised at the back. They haven't got it's not a world-class defence, everybody. It's improved, but it's not a world-class defence. They're going to press us. We should be pressing them and forcing mistakes. Connor, how's it going? All good, Brett? All good, mate? Good thing you're on this stream. Liz, match on together from Israel. Unbelievable support. Hello. Pedrino in the building. Logical mindset suggests we're already safe, but a win on Monday is needed to feel completely secure. I don't know if that's logical, Pedrino, because I think the next 6 are going to be tough for Leeds. Really, really tough. You've got to think, Jesse's done unbelievably well. He's done unbelievably well with what he's had, but I do think that this run of games that he's going to go on now is going to really test him. I think the Leeds board worked this really well with Marcelo Bielsa, because Marcelo Bielsa's last 6 games were extremely tough. It would have been interesting to see Jesse Marsch in the system with those last 6 games that Bielsa had. And this is all hypothetical and pointless really to talk about, but there is a point at the end of it. He's had a fair few games now, 10 points in 18, a really good return, where I think he's had some favourable results. And I think the board did target that. I think they thought if a new manager's coming in, he's going to get a new manager bounce against this run of, Southampton, Watford, Norwich. Obviously, you throw Wolves in there, which is a real outlier and a fantastic result. But would that have been different if Wolves had kept 11 men on the pitch? I think so. I think if we've been all been brutally honest with you, or with each other, he's now going to face a lot of adversity, I think, in these next 6. And that's why he was saying in his press conferences, he's looking forward to playing these next 6, because I don't think he's been able to prove himself against the best of the best yet. He's got the best of the best coming up, very, very soon, take out Liverpool. But overall, in the mid-bracket sides as well, he's got a lot of tough games coming up. A lot of people seem to always write Brighton off. I don't know why. The right Graham Potter off as well. I don't know why. We've not beaten them yet in 3 games, and they're a tough opposition. They're very good away from home. And this isn't just me blowing smoke up other teams' arses. It's, I do watch other football games, and they're a good team. So I think it's going to be a real tough run-in. I do. And I hope Leeds can step up to the challenge, because we can't. I agree with the lads. We can't keep looking at other results, but you naturally do. But Leeds have to just prove that they're good enough, and the table will not lie at the end of the season. So we'll have to just wait and see, mate. What do you think of performances since March took over? I am not impressed. Results better, but is that not just because of the opposition? Yeah, I feel like I've just answered that, D. I get that. I understand that. I understand the premise of what you're talking about there. I think once again, he's done really well to come in, to change the mindset. The confidence was on the floor, which is a big problem. I still feel with Marcelo Bielsa, we would have gone down. It's a unique opinion. You guys come to this channel for honesty, and I get berated for it, but that's what you get on the One Leeds Fan Channel. You get honesty. You get honesty when other people come on. I do think Marcelo Bielsa would have taken us down, because I think that man marking system would have killed us off. I think the man marking system, when you've got there's nothing beneficial happening from the man marking system as well. And the confidence is on its arse, which it was towards the back end of the Tottenham game. There was no confidence in the players, heads down. You needed someone to come in and essentially be a bit of a hype man. That's no disrespect to Jesse Marsch, but the acid test is going to come with these next 6 games. If we got a Palace and we don't even have to dominate Palace, but if we win and you think, oh, that's fantastic, what a win that was. I mean, you got to give credit to him. But this is why I've seen comparisons from Bielsa and Marsch so far, and I think it's absolutely idiotic because the sample size is so small that you cannot offer comparatives. It's impossible. It's like now offering comparatives between Sean Dyche and Michael Jackson, the Burnley caretaker manager. It's like offering comparatives now because Michael Jackson's got 4 points out of 6. It's lunacy. It really is. So the acid test is going to come with the tougher games, obviously. Sorry, guys. I know there's a lot of comments coming in. I hope you're all doing fantastically well. If I remember rightly, Liam's bang on the money. Calvin pocketed Gallagher last game. I would man mark him, mate. I'd man mark him out the game, and Calvin is able to do that. You get rid of, I was about to say Liam Gallagher, imagine, maybe, but no. If you get rid of Conor Gallagher, like we sort of saw with the Chelsea Palace game, you get rid of him, you get rid of a lot of Crystal Palace, because he initiates the press. So getting rid of him is a big one. Jonathan Burkhart, yep, Scooby-Doo, yep. Left the transfer video, mate, in December. Yeah, he was one of the names who went on. What about West Ham, says Formula Sunny? Yeah, doing fantastic bits this season, mate. I'm a big fan of West Ham. Similar club to Leeds. Danny Bravo, what a name. Morning, Connor. Nice to catch you live. For once, hope you well, mate. I am, pal. I am. Football 22, great. I know this has nothing to do with the video, but why don't you include short videos in your channel? It'll help bring more people in, and then you'll end up getting more views. I don't care about views, mate. I'm not bothered about views. I have a community. I have people who I talk to. When I started this channel, I didn't give 2 hoots if 2 people were watching me, and I'd have been so happy with that. The fact that there is, sometimes a fair few people watching me, I still find weird. I honestly don't care about views. I'm not interested. I'm here to just talk to people who want to be on this channel. Connor, I think you're giving the board too much credit on there, thinking they've been poor and we're desperate. I'm not, honestly, mate. I'm not giving the board any positives. If you guys know, I've been hammering the board since last summer, because I think it's been an utter disgrace that we've not strengthened the squad. And if we don't stay up, they're at fault. They're at fault. 100%. But I don't think it's productive to be going through the season where we've not been in the relegation zone once to just be slamming the board on every video. But we ballsed up the summer massively when we finished in an unbelievable position, which could have attracted several players. And we ballsed up in the winter by not bringing people in, players in who can make a difference, even if it's players that don't start, but come on and can make an impact. So, yeah, if Leeds go down... are we seeing Pablo today, Connor? I don't think so, mate. He's downstairs, I think, chewing a bone. And he's in chewing mode as well at the moment. He'd probably end up chewing my face whilst I'm on. I kind of disagree. I don't know what else Marsch could have done since coming in. I think he's rebuilding the team that was getting slapped every week. Nothing better than American confidence. Dan, I'm not saying he's done a bad job, mate. I'm just saying the acid test is going to be in the next 6 games. That's all I'm saying, mate, when he's up against better opposition. I want to see more of a style as well. That's all I want to see. I want to see a little bit more of a style. He's had 2 weeks to work with the players now. The Watford game was hideous, and if we'd have played any competent, and Leeds fans hate hearing this, if we'd have played any other Premier League team, would have been 4-0 down in the first half. It was an abysmal game of football. I said earlier on that I watched Bournemouth, I think it was Sheffield United, earlier on in the day. It was a better game. They looked like better footballing teams. So that's not a style for me. I've not seen a style yet from Jesse Marsch. It still seems very mixed. He's had 2 weeks with the players. We've now had him for around 8 weeks, is it? Maybe a little bit less. 7 or 8 weeks. I want to see a little bit more of an understanding of what he's trying to do. And if we see that at Crystal Palace, whether or not it's going to be counter-attacking, counter-pressing, sitting back, hitting them, possession-based football, which I don't think it's going to be. I just want to see something. That's what I want to see. 200 in here. Everyone's special light. Yeah, do me a favor, mate. How do you think we will line up, Connor? Big fan of you as well as great content. Oh, thanks, Ben. I appreciate that. Normally, I don't get the you aspect of that, which I completely understand. I think we'll line up, Connor. Big fan of the content. Yeah. So what I think we'll go with, mate, is obviously it's very annoying that Forshaw's out again. I want to touch on Jesse Marsch's comments. I've not done. This is going to sound like I'm hammering Jesse Marsch. I am not. I'm a massive fan of what Jesse Marsch has done. As I've said, I'm just waiting for the acid test. But I want to talk about his Talksport comments because I've made sure, because I want to give Jesse Marsch credit, I've not touched on that yet. But I want to touch on that in this stream. Yeah, the lineup, I would go with Melee and net. I would go with Ayling right back. Centre backs, I would go with Cooper and Cott. Left back, I would go with Stuart Dallas. In the pivot, obviously, we're going to probably look at a 4-2-3-1 narrow here, aren't we? The pivot's going to have to be Calvin and Click. And then the three, I would go with Harrison, left to right. Harrison, Rodrigo, Rafinha. And up top, it's going to have to be James, isn't it? It's going to have to be James because Joffy, I don't know. I mean, he's bringing Greenwood on in front of him, isn't he? So I don't know. That's Dan. Thank you, mate. That's why your content is the best, community focus. I really appreciate that, mate. And I hope that is a thing because you guys know that I'm never really asking for likes. I do 40-minute streams. I do 10-minute, 30-minute, and I just want to talk to you guys. That's what I want to do. You know, sometimes I just have things to say, and I think that's the big thing because the passion should never be taken out of this stuff. Jack says, I think the style will come next season. I think he's just trying to bring things back to bed. Jack, very good point. Very good point. I would say though, mate, I know that, but I think it's very, very easy to make a team compact. That's what I think. I think it's very easy to make a team narrow. I don't know if in the Watford game, it was a case of Leeds just getting the ball whenever it was in our defensive third and hoofing it. That's not an idea for me. That's not an identity. Maybe it is an identity. Maybe that's what we're going to do when we're in trouble, which is fine. But if I see that against Crystal Palace, I'll understand that that's what we're going with. You know, the Leicester game was something completely different. The Villa game for me was something completely different. The Wolves game in the second half was all Bielsa ball. So it's very different. It seems like a combustion of different things at the minute. So yeah, maybe it's just a confidence thing at the minute. Jack clarifying there. Get him a Neville to chew and put it on the channel, please. I presume you're on about Pablo. Jesse's using the current formation and tactics purely for survival. He's come out and said it'll be different next season. Not seen that, Tim. Maybe he has. Maybe he has. Yeah. And I hope that is the case. Michael in the building. Jesse Marsch spoke the truth about overtraining. He must have said the same to players in private. That's got to be them on side. He's failing. Was talking on Talksport who ambushed him. Lessons to be learned. Okay, Michael, we'll get into it. All I kept hearing, well, he's not lying. He's not lying. But we all know that. We all know Bielsa overtrained the players. We all saw 3 murder ball sessions a week. We all saw a carousel of injury upon injury on injury succession. It's been a succession for 4 years. Leeds, on average, have had 4 injuries per game over a 4-year period with Marcelo Bielsa. We all knew that. Jesse Marsch came out yesterday and clarified his comments and understood why it made people upset. It made me upset. Yeah. Talksport have a reputation of curating content, and I'll try to say this in the nicest way possible, to cause controversy, to create a narrative that might irk fans. And they do that with Leeds very, very well because we're such a passionate fan base. And obviously Bielsa is Bielsa, isn't he? So we're going to all defend him. I didn't think he needed to go on this platform. And this is looking as well back at who are the people telling him that this is a good idea? You know, the backroom staff are telling him that this seems to be a good idea. It's not a good idea. It was never a good idea. But they've said to him that this is something that he should be doing. So, in my opinion, this was a bad move for Jesse Marsch, a really bad move for Jesse Marsch, because you get no other Premier League manager doing it. It wouldn't happen. You would get no other Premier League manager doing it. Find me another Premier League manager who's been on Talksport this season talking about previous managers. It doesn't happen. So, yeah, I think it was ill-advised. What he's saying was true, but why did he need to say it on Talksport? It made no sense. It made no sense to me, and it upset me. I looked on my phone and I thought, no, Jesse, no. And I just think at the minute he needs to take a step back from the cameras a little bit. That's all. Going out and doing interviews. He's doing fantastic work with Sky Sports, getting his name out there. And I do think that's what he's doing at the minute. He's looking at boosting his profile. But Talksport's the wrong way. And you blame the people behind the scenes, in my opinion, more than you blame Jesse Marsch. But it didn't need to be said. And I think that's why he clarified his comments. James, if Talksport were a newspaper, they would be the Sun. Yeah, nothing more needs to be said, really. Thanks for your open comments. No, no, thanks, mate. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, mate. It is what it is. Swear he's on Soccer AM earlier, was he? There you go. He's everywhere, isn't he? Really liking Rodrigo, Johnny Chick in the building. Rodrigo under Marsch. Think he scores again on Monday. Yeah, I'd agree, mate. Rodrigo's been brilliant. That license to thrill, if you will, if we're bringing it James Bond-esque. Is that what we're doing? License to thrill? Is that what it is? License to kill. It's not thrill, is it? That'd be weird. Yeah. I think it's a good sign, and hopefully he's going to be one of the players who's going to be an X factor on Monday and can get Leeds over the line. Hopefully he can start curating that relationship a little bit more with Rafinha as well. But yeah, guys, I'll tell you what, I'll end that at the minute. I don't want to think it's not negative. I think we can get something against Crystal Palace. I really do. Results, we're all going to be looking out for Burnley and Everton this weekend. We need them both to drop points massively. You know, you really don't want Burnley getting a win against Wolves. You don't want that at all. Dan Nixon, almost better than that. License to thrill, yeah. But yeah, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Yeah, my prediction is on the debrief. Make sure you go check that out. Check the tactical preview out. We've not really been going on about the tactics in this video, but there's ways I think Leeds can beat Crystal Palace. So go check that out. And if you want a little bit more of a general video, I've done a summer rebuild video. So make sure you check it out, guys. Have a good one, and I'll see you in a bit.